Hey, flat earthers, why don't you go to the freaking edge and take a picture of the flat Earth and come back. BT dubs in this regard. There is a geometric shape, a surface on which you can travel in any direction and never leave the surface. Anyone? Anyone? A sphere, a ball, an Earth. Dudette, there are pictures from space of the Earth. What is wrong with you? The ancient Greeks knew that the Earth was round. They saw the shadow of the Earth on the moon during a lunar eclipse. Why are you 3 or 4 or 5 centuries behind the rest of us? Go out there, take a picture, send it on the internet, carry on.
Would it freak too many people out? Are there people who just can't grasp that?
Astronomy always freaks people out.
Right.
There's a whole thing now. The Earth is flat.
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
Hey, flat Earth people! If you're out there, I tell you what, get a car, rent a car, and drive to the edge of the Earth. Send us some pictures.
Yeah. Don't fall. Well, there are theories. The theory is that you can't because the walls of Antarctica, etc., are so high that you can't get.
We're living in a bowl, is what they're saying.
This is what that they can't. You couldn't actually hit it like you'd hit a wall. This is
okay, so here's my concern.
Not that I believe this, by the way.
Yeah.
But
you couldn't actually hit it. You'd hit a wall. Okay, so I'm very sympathetic to that point of view, but what would be better is get in a spacecraft and look down. Wow. Furthermore,
we should try that one day.
Wow.
Copernicus said if you want to predict the position of objects in the night sky, it's much better if you think of it as the Earth going around the sun rather than the sun going around the Earth. Turned out he was correct. 1543, not bad. So 1543, people, not last week. Get over it. My life has been a waste. I've failed.
I do believe that the round Earth people are outnumbering these flat Earth people.
The round Earth people are
They're
outnumbering.
winning.
But this whole idea that you can have a belief, that you can just believe something so hard, and that is every bit as valuable or valid as facts,
right,
or what is discoverable through the process of science is really troubling thing.
what made you fall in love with science?
I don't remember, but I think it was bees.
Yeah.
I used to watch bumblebees.
Hey Bill, can you prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the Earth is a sphere and not flat? Because I have a lot of Facebook friends who say that it's flat, and I just can't convince them. Thank you.
Is the Earth flat or round? Go to the seashore. Go to a seashore and figure out why you can't, if you live on the East Coast, figure out why you can't see Spain from the East Coast of North America. It looks like you might have a St. Louis hat on. I'm not sure. Just go to the middle of the Mississippi River and look south. Why can't you see the Louisiana? Why can't you see New Orleans? What's the problem there? Well, then climb a tower or go to the top of a hill or a mountain, and you'll see a little farther, but you will not see to the other side of the Earth, places we know to exist. For example, I've been to London. I can tell you, other people have. I've been to Vancouver, British Columbia, and you cannot see Vancouver, British Columbia from Boise, Idaho, let alone from New York City or Toronto or what have you. Just start there. Then if you'd like, look at pictures from space where you see the Earth as a sphere. Those pictures are not faked. And I'll tell you, just if nothing else, here's why you can tell they're not faked. Just to create the paperwork that NASA has created, NASA in this one case, just the paperwork to send anything out in space, to send people into orbit or to send them to the moon, that amount of paperwork would make faking it prohibitively expensive. No one could afford to generate that much documentation. Then the other thing, if you want to get into this, if you're really serious, if your friends are really serious, have them get on a boat or a ship and go out at sea, and you'll notice you can't see infinitely far. Furthermore, if you get into it enough, pick up a book about navigation or go online and learn about navigation. A very, very important thing you have to take into account when you try to navigate the ocean from a ship or a boat is how high you are off the sea surface. The higher you are off the sea surface, the farther you can see, the farther away the horizon is. Oh my. Now, this discovery that the world is round was made it was published in 1540. Now, I'm concerned, it was Copernicus. I'm concerned it might have been 1530, but it was about then. It was in the 16th century that the Earth was shown to be a ball. But it was known to be a ball by a lot of other people before Copernicus in the Western world, what we now call the Western world, Western Hemisphere. The ancient Greeks noticed that then 12 hours later in Buenos Aires at night, the shadow was always curved. So the ancient Greeks knew that the Earth was a ball. They didn't know to the degree of the size of it, to the degree of precision we know now. And you guys, come on. Everybody watches newscasts. You all use mobile phones. You all see airplanes fly around. You all go to see Ed Sheeran in concert one day in London, another day in Melbourne, Australia. This all depends on our fundamental understanding of the size of the Earth and its shape with extraordinary precision. And if you want to get into it, the Earth isn't quite a sphere. It's a little, its spin is a little stretched it, made it slightly oblate, as the saying goes. This is all susceptible to analysis, but spend some time learning about navigation. Tell your friends to spend some time learning about navigation. Navigation's changed the world, by the way. What are you wearing? You're wearing stuff that came from another part of the world on a ship. It didn't get here by magic. It got here through science. That's a great question. And I can give you a real science answer. The Earth is not a cube because it has enough stuff. It has enough rocks and metals and water and lava and everything that all pull on each other equally. And this, every time you do that, you get a ball. You get a sphere. In other words, if you made a cubical Earth and it was orbiting the sun and so on, after a few years, pick a number, a few million years, it would squish itself into a ball. And so when we study asteroids, we go out there with spacecraft and look at asteroids, Dawn, Vesta, Hayabusa 2. We observe asteroids that are not cubes but are very rough. They're very, they have irregular shapes. They're not balls. They don't have enough stuff to become balls or spheres. But you were alive when the first pictures from Pluto came back to Earth. And Pluto is apparently right there at having just enough stuff to make it into a ball. It's cool. So it's because everything's pushing in the same, or pulling in the same direction all the time on everything else. It resolves itself, or it ends up as a ball. Try this. Get some marbles and a big rubber band and put the marble on a tabletop. Put the marbles in the rubber band and just kind of wiggle it around. You'll see it'll become a circle. It will not, if you try to make it into a square, the rubber band will plink, will slowly bring it all back into a circle. And so a planet becoming a ball is like the rubber band and the marbles, but all in 3 dimensions instead of 2, in a ball instead of just a circle rotated through a circle. That's a cool question. So the reason planets are spheres or balls is because they have enough gravity pulling all the stuff together at the same time that you end up with no sharp edges, no irregular bumps. It's cool. Except it's in outer space, there's no sound, it just goes.